Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening. Thank you for joining us today. Let's start off. Can I ask Mr. Commission to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Would that be all right?
Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Before we get started, can I ask, is there anyone in the audience this evening who is a member of one of the applicant teams? Either as an owner or a consultant? Okay. All right, seeing none? All right, we'll move on. Just a little history of how we got here tonight. This is a big deal for the city. And it's something that the city has discussed and contemplated for years. We started down the road most recently in 2019 and got held up a little bit during COVID and then moved on. And ultimately, in September of 2021, the City Council decided to change the city's ordinance that at that time prohibited cannabis uses in Canyon Lake and established what is really a very regulated and restrictive framework by which retail cannabis would be allowed in Canyon Lake. So that decision was made in September of 2021 by adopting ordinance number 2015. At the same time, the City Council adopted 3 resolutions. And those resolutions set the maximum number of cannabis businesses that are allowed here to 1, at least for the time being, established a fee schedule for the process, and established a review criteria for applicants. The application period opened in January of this year. It closed in March, and here we are today. So the process that was laid out by the City Council consisted of numerous phases. The first phase, after applications were submitted, involved an independent review and scoring of the applications by our third-party consultant, HDL. And in order to move forward in the process, an application had to score pretty high. It had to have a score of 90% or higher. So the applicants that are at this stage in the process have been thoroughly vetted. Background investigations were done on the owners. They scored above 90%. And where we are today in the process is the public hearing that is called out for in the resolution that was adopted by the council. And I want to talk for a minute about what this meeting is tonight and what it is not. So clearly, this is not a meeting of the City Council. This is a staff-driven process. When the council adopted the process, they wanted to take politics out of it as much as possible. And so after the council adopted and established the ordinance and the resolutions dictating how this would happen, they took themselves out of the process and delegated that to staff and our consultants at HDL. After the applicants present tonight and after public comment is taken, those comments will be taken into consideration when we put together what we call conditions of approval. So the applicant that is awarded the permit will then have to go through the same process that any other business would have to go through to open here in Canyon Lake. They will have to get a permit that has certain conditions attached to it. So, for example, we may hear tonight that someone has concerns about, at certain locations, I'm just going to pick an issue. We don't want our kids to see armed guards walking back and forth outside. If that is a significant issue that we hear, the city could incorporate conditions that if an applicant is chosen at a location where that's an issue, they have to take certain steps to mitigate that. Those steps might be, for example, armed guards have to be inside the building instead of outside. Or if armed guards are outside, they have to be dressed in such a way that it is not obvious that they are armed guards, right? What this meeting is not is a chance to opine about ideology on whether or not cannabis should be allowed in Canyon Lake. That decision has been made by the City Council already. That really won't be constructive, so please don't go there. If you do, I'll use the gavel. It is also really not terribly helpful to hear comments like, I don't like this location, I don't like that location, because the locations that are allowable were established in the original ordinance by the city council. When the council adopted that ordinance, there were certain uses that were determined to be sensitive uses, and the council defined those as churches, schools, and libraries. You have to be a certain distance away from those uses. If you don't like another use, like let's say a market, the time to ask for that would have been when the council was deliberating on that ordinance. So we no longer have, as staff and the consultant, the ability to disqualify an applicant because of a location that is legitimate per the ordinance. We can impose conditions of approval, right, to address and mitigate specific issues. I just want to be clear on that because we have a lot of people here tonight and I want to be respectful of everyone's time. And I would ask that comments are limited to things that we can actually do something about. Okay. Just so you know the process tonight, we have asked all of the applicants to be sequestered upstairs in the space that used to be the library. They are watching this via television. The reason for that is twofold. First, we don't have a whole lot of seats in this room, and them and the applicants and their teams would take up probably half of it. But more importantly, when the applicants are giving their presentations, the TV will be muted so they cannot hear what is being said in the room. To us, that's a way to ensure some fairness so that applicants who present later in the process don't have the advantage of hearing what was said by the other applicants. The order was determined right before this meeting started by random drawing. And so what we will do is we will have public comment on the front end. If you have comments or questions that you would like the applicants to address, you may do that. They will be listening to those comments. The TV will be on for that. After public comment, and each comment will be limited to 3 minutes on the front end. After public comment, one by one, the applicants will be invited to come and give their presentations. They are limited to 15 minutes each for their presentations. Following the presentations, we will have another opportunity for questions and comments from the public based on what you hear from the applicants' presentations. We will limit those questions and comments to 2 minutes. And then following that, any applicant who wishes to address any of those questions or comments that came up will be invited to do so if they so wish, and they'll be limited to 5 minutes each for that. And then we'll close out the meeting. Anything I missed, guys?
Nothing for me.
Just quick introductions. Our city clerk, Anna Cecilia, our city attorney, Stephen Graham, our city planner, Jim Morrissey, and our consultant, Matt Eaton from HDL are with us this evening. Oh, one last thing. This is a public hearing. We're here to listen and gather information. This is not a time where we're going to get into a back and forth. So the city won't be answering questions or engaging. We're going to be listening, taking notes, and paying attention to what we need to incorporate in conditions of approval. So with that, I think we can invite the first applicant to come down. I'm sorry, public comment is first. So City Clerk, if you would invite the first member of the public to come up and comment.
Thank you. I'd like to apologize in advance if I mispronounce your name. And also we have additional comment cards in the back. So if anybody needs to fill one out, please feel free to do so and just go ahead and bring it up.
Also, the City Clerk has a really obnoxious buzzer sound when you hit your 3 minutes.
Yes, 3 minutes. We're very strict on that. We have lots of comments to get through tonight. So 3 minutes, I will be stopping you at 3 minutes. We're going to start with Kathy. Is it Likawa?
Maybe go first. I assume I go up here, right? It's just on. Hey, so my question, more than questions and comments, so I try to go through all the proposals, and more of a question, what is the process the city is going to use to select? Because I looked at the scoring, I mean, quite frankly, you were generous, everybody got A's. But how are we going to distinguish one from the other? I mean, most people are concerned about location. As an engineer, I tend to do trade studies, but is the city planning to do a trade study on the applicants based on certain aspects, or what is the process going forward? Is that a question I can ask, or not at this time?
So we're not getting into back and forth with you. We're here to listen to comments and questions and incorporate those into terms and conditions. But I will say, the application process is outlined in the resolutions that they are on our cannabis page on the city's website.
Okay, I'm gonna pass for now because I don't feel like I'm ready for this audience, and then I'll wait for the follow-up. Thanks.
Next, we have Wayne Curtis.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. My name is Wayne Curtis. I'm a recently retired CEO of a specialized logistics company and one of the former owners of Atlas World Group. I've been a resident of Canyon Lake for 31 years. I've known Rich Moline, the primary applicant for the syndicate, for over 25 years, and my company has also done business with one of his companies in the past. He's a quality, fair businessman that delivers exactly what he promised, and he's a great Canyon Lake neighbor and resident. As for his chosen location, which is one of the decisions that you're making, I feel that it is best, the best for this business purpose. Regarding parking, access and egress, access to the rear for deliveries as opposed to the front. And it would be a great companion business for the neighbors, and that's why it's one of the best selections and not the best selections. That's all I have. Thank you.
Next, we have Jeannie Odell.
Thank you very much. My name is Jeannie Odell, and I'm here from the Canyon Lake Chamber of Commerce tonight. I do have a question that I hope the applicants will be able to answer in their presentations, and that is a simple one. As a business owner within the city of Canyon Lake, how will you support the business community? I'm not talking to clubs, I'm not talking to residents, I'm talking to the business community itself. Thank you.
Next, we have Chris Kuminkowski.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for letting us speak here. Rich Moline, I've known for quite a bit of time. He has been a pillar of the community. His family, both a local leader for over 30 years now. He lives less than a mile from this location. If there were any need that he needs to be here, that guy's going to be here. And the guy has supported us for quite a long time. The location that he has over here, he's the only one that has really a location in the back that allows you to deliver the product so that the community doesn't have to deal with any kind of armed guards or anything out in front. So that's another big thing, but I'm just here to support my brother Rich there, and that's it.
Next, we have Bob Whiteside. Okay, thank you. Next, we have Mike Sims.
Hello, thank you for letting me speak. I was going to speak before and after. I just really wanted to ask the question to all the applicants as to what they were going to do for the city. I think this is going to be good for the city. I think it's going to generate a lot of revenue, which the city needs. So I'd like to know what each applicant is going to provide for the city. And I'm looking forward to it and wait until after. All right, thank you.
William Gary.
Thank you for calling me. My name is William Gary. I prefer to be called Gary because I get tired of people calling me William, Bill, or Billy. So I've been living in Canyon Lake over 10 years. Wonderful community, wonderful environment for my wife and I. And I walk every day from Eastgate to vacation, Monday through Friday. I don't get involved in things that happen in the community, but this has piqued my interest, so I figured I'd come and find out what the hell is going on. That's what I'm at. Thank you.
Next, we have Candace Kastner.
Candace Kastner. My question is about the parking lots and the areas. I have a business and I know that, even on Thursdays are the worst when I see, chicken wings left out in the parking lot when I get there for work. So what's gonna happen with the parking lot area and how will it affect all the businesses around also? Thank you.
Next, we have Veronica Juarez.
Hi, I'm Veronica. My question is just I think it was already asked, but what will the applicants be, or whoever's selected, what will they be giving back to the city? So we have a business, we give back a lot. We love seeing the kids really involved. So I know it's cannabis, just kind of like cliche or whatever, but if they can do something for kids, whether it's doing, I don't know, like making some type of fund, like a scholarship fund, putting events on, I think it'll be accepted a little bit more than kind of what the stigma is behind it. So I just want to know what they're giving back. Thank you.
Next, we have Johnny Juarez.
Thank you guys, Johnny, resident for 8 years, business owner for 7 years here. I think my biggest concern is how is the parking lot, how is everything gonna be overwatched? I understand the security could be there watching, but I think the added effect of the city being close, the local police department, sheriffs being close, I think that'll definitely help out with watching everything over, keeping the ruckus down. Just my concern. Thank you guys.
Next, we have Tom, is it Furman?
That'd be me. I've been a property owner here at Canyon Lake for 26 years. And I've known Rick for a couple of decades. And he's a fine gentleman. I can accolade what everybody else has said. And I can't get a bet out of him on playing golf. So he must be a good, honest, straight guy. And he's my choice for this position.
Next, we have Charlene Wagner. And lastly, we have Tony Schwarzman.
Hi guys, my name is Tony, and I wanted to, kind of put my input on as far as the location base. Rich Moline has a pretty awesome spot there right up the middle. I think that would keep a lot of traffic out from the open. There is loading bays in the back, which totally makes sense for deliveries and things like that. But I would like to see a quick decision made. I do not want to deliberate this any longer. This is affecting businesses that are currently running, that are bringing actual value to the community and other services and things like that. But right now we have 5 buildings empty waiting for this. So I'd like to see this happen quickly and get back to business for everybody else. Thank you.
Thank you. I have no further cards. Before we move on, Mr. Bob Whiteside and Charlene Wagner, I have cards for the next round, but for everybody else, if you wish to speak in the next round of public comment, please fill out another card and get that over to me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, with that, we'll move into the applicant presentations. If I could ask the TV upstairs to be muted and for Empire Gardens to come on down. podium, that'd be great. There's a clicker there on the podium. Your presentation is loaded on the screen here. And you have 15 minutes. Yes.
One of them went to the restroom.
Oh.
Duty calls.
How you guys doing today?
Good, how are you? Good, thank you for being here.
Thanks for your time.
Okay, I think you're ready to go.
My name is Nader Awad. I'm the owner of Empire Gardens, a resident of Canyon Lake.
I'm sorry. Can I ask, everyone really is talking on the microphone because we are live streaming this. So
Okay,
we need to
cool.
pick up the voice now.
Sure. My name is Nader Awad. I'm the owner of Empire Gardens, a resident of Canyon Lake, one of the first retail licensee owners in the state of California. I have with me Camise, who runs operations, a resident of Canyon Lake, and he is the reason Empire Gardens consistently is the top tax revenue providers in the cities it operates in. Also, I have Hisham Amir, who runs inventory, business accounting, graduated of Cal Poly Pomona with an accounting degree. Also, I have Joshua D. Nagar, a legal compliance, a pioneer of the commercial cannabis space in Western Riverside County, director of the Cannabis Chamber of Commerce, known Cannabis Advocate. Also, I have Shadi Awad, development, tenant improvements, a well-known business owner, community leader, and a development expert. A brief history, who are we? We're pioneers, one of the first licensees in the state of California. Success, top producer of cannabis tax revenues for years. Leaders, first licensee in the county of Riverside to be awarded an event license. Our future plans, where are we going? Well, we're opening a micro business in Moreno Valley and also Lake Elsinore, also with the applicant for Costa Mesa, and high integrity to operate compliantly and lawfully. What guides us? To be passionate and joyful about operations as well as grateful for success while honoring customers, team members, and the community. Why are we here? To obtain approval, to contribute back to the community, to maintain the trust and respect that Empire Garden Brands enjoys. And I'll have Joshua come up next.
Hey everybody, Joshua Nagar. I'm here to talk to you about how we chose our location. And I want to thank staff for a great process, very transparent. I think how we chose our location was a good example of the judgment we show in running our operations. The city required C1 zoning, distance from sensitive uses, and compliance with general and specific plans. And it also encouraged us not to displace any tenants. And we took that all to heart. And we had a couple locations to choose from. One was the town center and one was the esports center. And when analyzing the town center, we were a little concerned about the sensitive uses, some of the schools and community events like the trick-or-treating and the Santa Claus with the snow for the kids. And we were a little concerned after reading the specific plan. It's a beautiful document. I mean, I'm behind it 100%, but it seemed to have a vision that was a little different than ours. So we decided to go with the esports center, which was a little different than the other teams because we felt it had less sensitive use impact and the center itself needed a little tender loving care. And we thought we could benefit the community in that way. The esports center is located at 24370 Canyon Lake Drive North. It's off of Getz Road. The property is zoned correctly, and we will not be displacing a single tenant when we locate there. And that was very important to us because it was part of the guidelines and instructions we received. The location will be a stop and shop, really discreet signage, and we really believe our improvements to the facade and the landscaping are really going to be our best foot forward with the city and be our best source of advertising. And while the rules didn't require it, we went ahead after talking with staff, had a traffic engineer make sure we were Ordinance 82 parking compliant. And we did hire that traffic engineer, and I'm happy to report that we are compliant, and the report from the traffic engineer is in our application. So what we believe in communicating about our proposed location is we hope you take a look at how we make our judgments, how we approach choosing our location was very conscious. We tried to choose a location that we felt was in accordance with the general and specific plans. We tried to choose a location that was very respectful to schools and very respectful to what we believe was a teen substance abuse center. And what we want you to take from that, we went a step forward with a traffic engineer, a step forward in choosing a location that needs some tenant loving care, and we're not displacing any tenants. And that's just an example of what kind of partner we would be. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Shadi.
Hi guys, my name is Shadi Awad. First we went through the sensitive uses and checking out, but looking at the center, we wanted to make sure that our name is Empire Gardens. So we definitely want to add extra landscaping and spruce it up. It's a garden area, so when you come in, that's the first thing you're gonna see, that it looks nice. Also, it's a commuter shopping center. Pretty much people are picking up their product and they're leaving, they're not hanging out there. The majority of that shopping center is the same. Odor control, there's no odor really, everything is tight, sealed. You're buying prepackaged cannabis. Just in case if somebody says there's odor, we're putting in the AmeriCare 4000 and it scrubs 99.97% of all particles every 10 minutes. And we're also going to have a sign in there that has any information for us, the operator on site, and also our legal team. That way you know who to contact if there's an issue, and that way there's no other thing. You get directly to the owner or their legal team. Next slide. Our business plan.
Hi, my name is Hisham Omer. I'm proud to be part of this team. I'll be honest, I'm not the best speaker. I do operations. That's what we're good at. This is our floor plan, as you guys could see. Our hours of operations is from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week. We will have 2 shifts, 5 to 7 employees working those shifts. 2.0 sales system with COLA software, which integrates Metric, which is California's track and trace system. We're one of the biggest products. We have the biggest menu in the IE. We offer adult use products to include topicals, edibles, concentrates, and flowers. And just to add on, all our inventory is paid off, so it allows us to bring unbeatable prices. 2 of the main things I want to touch on this slide is we do have cannabis banking. We have a Brinks truck that comes to our property once a week, collects the cash in an armored truck, and that cash is secured. We also offer payroll services to the employees, which is awesome because a lot of teams still pay cash, and it becomes difficult when that employee wants to purchase a vehicle or a house. They don't have proof of funds. We do offer that. We offer a wide range of standard operating procedures that set us apart from others. One of the biggest things is the governor created an impaired driving task force. Basically, it's a group of doctors, sheriffs, etc., lawyers, and they created a safe consumption plan. We're proud to say we train all our employees on this. We do have signage all throughout our store that says do not, smoke and drive, do not crossfade. We try to educate our employees. All right, this final slide I'll be discussing is our schedule of development, costs, and projections. First, the steps are listed right there. First step is to get our licenses. Next step will be getting into tenant improvement and build out. Our estimated cost for tenant improvements, inventory, equipment, staffing is $750,000 to $1 million. Below, our goal is basically to update the landscaping, the facade, and signage to meet Canyon Lake standards. Below that is our estimated first year projections. Our revenues gross is $9.6 million. These are actually reflects our numbers that we reach in Moreno Valley and Paris. Below that, we include all our sales tax, what it would be, the state tax, local tax, I'm not sure what it is here yet, our expenses and cost of goods sold. We are one of the top taxpayers in both of our cities, and we're proud of that.
Hi, everybody. Joshua again, here to talk about our labor plan. I want to talk about what sets us apart from maybe other teams. We were one of the first 5 or 10 teams in the state of California, and we've been very successful. And anyone that owns a business, operates a business, knows that when you have a successful business, it's because you have successful employees. That's just bottom line. So what makes our employees successful is we have cannabis banking with payroll deductions, so everything is in alignment there that helps them in their life. We have workers' comp insurance. We pay a living wage plus gratuity, and we have benefits. So we like to feel we have a very comprehensive package there. We also have voluminous written labor policies, everything from E&O policies, sexual harassment policies. We have, OSHA compliant policies if there's an injury at work. And why do I mention that? A lot of teams probably won't have that, and we exhibited them in full in our application. And the reason we have them is we've been in business probably the longest out of the applicants here today, and we've come to create these documents as a result of experience. All of our employees go through an onboarding program which familiarizes them with the labor employee handbook, safety, security, operations, and state of California sexual harassment classes. We also offer education to our employees. We offer them OSHA classes, and what's something very unique about what we do is we offer them classes through Green Flower. Green Flower is an educational service provider that the University of Riverside uses for its students, so we like to believe that's a cut above. And we also have a written diversity plan, and for us it's basically an experience. We experience the broadest view of diversity, meaning we believe every person on earth is uniquely their own and powerfully their own self. And we encourage our employees to bring their most true and authentic self to work each day, and we promise to welcome them. Other than that, we believe part of respecting our employees and honoring them is being OSHA compliant and having an education and written procedure in place to ensure we have a safe workplace. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kamis. I'll describe our security plan. We use a well-known company in the cannabis industry, Pacific Security Patrol. We start off the day with 3 armed security, and then we end the night with 4. After hours, we do have a overnight security that's armed that stays from the time we close to the time we open. Every employee at every location that we have does have a general alarm system with key fobs and panic buttons that's monitored 24/7. Also, when it comes to the camera system, we use a well-known company, which is iWatcher. They've been in the industry for about 10 years. We'll be installing 25 dual resolution cameras that do record for 90 days, and each camera does, and we'll have a backup battery system for random blackouts. When it comes to signage, we do have clear, legible, state mandated and age-restricted signage for the public. Our staff are always wearing a laminated badge that does put our shop name, license number, their name, their picture, so you know who you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis, and are assigned to each number. Each employee does go through a training of security system and emergency training. All employees are 21 and over. When it comes to general security, we have a few listed here. One of the biggest things is there will be cannabis use from the public, which we think is a big deal. Next, I'm gonna bring up Shadi.
Here is also the fire protection. We got an FPE, fire protection engineer, and he said that, our fire plan is sufficient. We have 3 exits. The minimum requirement is 2 exits, just above that, just in case. We're Cal OSHA written OSHA accident investigation protocols. We have an inventory manager on site that makes sure all the product is there for the POS inventory and takes out anything that's not, any defective products, they're responsible for it. So we have a point of contact to know who can hold accountable. Accountability is very important in this industry. I want to bring up Ali real quick.
Gentlemen, you have 1 minute left.
Okay, good, that's all I need, 1 minute. Great. Good evening, everybody. I'm Abid Taha. Some of you guys might know me from the guy at the store. I bought Eastport or Roundup back in 2009. It was really, really run down and bad. And over the years, changed it, turned it around, and just want to have you guys, please look at the Eastport Center as, not just, you know, the little store or the little center on the side, like it was never really mentioned in the first meetings, it was always the town center. We are probably one of the biggest tax producing, revenues for the city of Canyon Lake with the gas and the sales tax we pump out of that little market. When Empire Gardens approached me, I was super excited when I saw their plan, it was amazing. I think they have a lot to bring to the center and to the community, and I really am excited to work with them and work with you guys if it's approved. Thank you guys.
In closing, we'd like to say that we are probably the most experienced team applying here today with years of knowledge, and we probably pay the most in benefits to the cities that we operate in, to include some of the same cities that fellow applicants operate in. And I'd like to highlight that in some of the cities, if you add all of their benefits to the city combined, it wouldn't equal a fraction of what we do. So I think why is that important? I think the city's looking for a successful operator, an experienced operator, and that's what we offer here today. And in closing, I'd like to add the city of Moreno Valley on our, thank you so much, everyone. Good luck, everybody.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Warn you guys, it's obnoxious.
Thank you. Okay, next we have Sipcoy. Good evening, welcome. Good. All right, is the clicker up there? I have it there. All right, very good. You have 15 minutes.
All right. First, I'd like to thank you guys for allowing us to be here tonight. I know this wasn't an easy decision for you guys to make. I know the public can be interesting at times, so I want to thank you guys for pursuing this, giving us the opportunity. So, firstly, to make things simple, we are a micro business at Sipcoy. We cultivate our own product, and we have our own distribution channels, our own manufacturing, and our own retail dispensary. So our main mission is to produce high quality cannabis, is to distribute high quality cannabis, and to do so in a professional manner.
At a fraction of the cost also.
At the best possible pricing. So I'm Craig McCoy, and we'll get that in a second, but I wanted to give a little bit of background on how we came to be in this business. So a lot of you may remember when I was on the board back in 2008, my son was born prematurely. And with that came a slew of issues, of which was one of them was seizures. And so over the years, all the different medications he was on, they weren't doing so great. So our search led us to cannabis. And at that time, it was still deemed to be illegal. So for us, it was a stretch to get that point. So fast forward, he was at that time about 6 years old when we started this. Fast forward now, he's now 14, and he's on cannabis now for several years, 8 years, right? So that's how we came to be in this business. When Chris and I joined forces with Derek, we were starting to grow hemp. With that hemp, I should probably start doing this, right? So in that journey, we started growing hemp for CBD in an attempt to join that world. In doing so, we ended up joining forces with Derek in about 2019, opening our first store in 2020, and that's in Moreno Valley. So the big thing for us in getting in this business was more on the health side. You hear a lot of the community concerns about cannabis, and some of those just, in my mind, are unfounded, based off of just education. So part of our mission, again, is to educate the public to those that are willing to listen. There are a lot of people out there that self-medicate with cannabis, some recreationally. So when we're trying to source this for our son, we're looking at either narcotics or a natural solution. So again, back to self-medication, those that are for pain management, for sleep, anxiety, depression, a slew of different reasons why you use cannabis. For us, it was an easy decision. So I'll let Derek step in.
Hello, thank you for having us here. My name is Derek Sipkoy. When I came to meet Chris and Craig, I too had an issue with having a family member. My little brother got in a motorcycle accident. My past is I raced BMX professionally. I got a lot of friends local to the area and the community that are also professional athletes, and wanted to come up with an option that would be a little bit different than narcotics for the sake of safety, testing if they want to continue down a course of being a professional athlete, some of it doing with business endeavors, making sure that they have a clean record. When I met Craig and heard his story, it lined up with where I was at with my family. Racing professionally, I wasn't allowed to use any substances, but I got to learn a lot about it, and upon having some injuries, it was the first time myself and having a brother that got injured that we started looking into cannabis, starting with hemp and CBD, which is non-psychoactive sides of cannabis, and then learning that it is triggered by THC, making CBD so much more potent in the body, and it being a natural healing source. There's a lot of people that are in the community that are trying to turn to that as a safer alternative instead of opiates, and that's where our team joined forces. We got very common mindsets towards wanting to be knowledgeable to our community. Our staff is something that we spend a lot of time with, making sure that they understand the products that are being sold. Do you want me to skip ahead or that?
Before you we'll go to Chris next. Well, I'll close it. We know finish stuff. So my name is Chris Hansen. I'm also a resident of Canyon Lake. I've resided here for about 30 years. So I like to say I grew up here. I've raised my family here. My daughter is 27. My son is 17. So we have some really, really deep roots in this community. I know it was important coming into this that something really stands out in my mind that council wanted this to be a local business. And that really rang true to what we believe in and what we're doing. Craig and I, like I said, we've raised our families here. We have a successful business here. We've been operating now for 12 years. We've been #1 real estate agents 9 of the last 12 years. And there's a lot to say about that. The community backs us. The community trusts us. The community continues to come back to us. So, if we are selected to be the applicant or the licensee holder, pretty much everybody in this community either knows Chris Hansen, they know Craig McCoy, or they know Hansen McCoy, and they know where to find us. Our office is going to be located 2 doors down from our proposed location. So we are owner-operators. Our Moreno Valley location that we operate is a 30,000 square foot facility, micro business like Craig had mentioned. We are there every single day. If I'm not there, Craig will be there or Derek will be there. Every single day, 7 days a week, one of the owners is on site at the location. You will get nothing less at Canyon Lake. We will be here backing our business, and if there's any issues, we will address them immediately. One of the things, I'm rambling, but one of the things I would like to point out is the city of Moreno Valley hired HDL. HDL is also who you guys have hired. Well, they have governed us over the last 2 years, and we have a perfect rapport with HDL. They do blind audits.
They come in our facility unannounced. They have not found any issues with the way we operate our business. Safety, compliance, cleanliness, there has not been any issues. We've had some minor things that they want us to fix, and as they leave, before they hit the 15 freeway to head back to home, I've texted pictures and reports, and we are back to being perfect. So if anybody on the board has any concerns whether or who they're going to be bringing into their community, I mean, the people you hired can tell you exactly who we are, what we stand for, and what we will accomplish.
Great. That was a personal intro, but that was the whole presentation.
By the way, good chance.
All right, so with that being said, I'm Craig McCoy. I'll keep mine short. I've been I moved to Canada when I was 2 years old, 1977. My parents have ran their business here for over 40 years. I've been doing my business here since 1998. So, like Chris has said, we are stakeholders here in this community, and if we were to have our choice, we want someone that has something to lose. Our livelihoods are based here in Canyon Lake, and so if we don't do a good job, we'll hear about it on both sides of the Cannabis side and the real estate side. So yeah, so jumping into our Moreno Valley. So Chris mentioned HDL. So they do govern us in Moreno Valley. What we've had to go through a similar process and present, and over the last 2 years, what we've been able to do there. So we have currently about 21 employees. Throughout the last 2 years, we've had over 200,000 customers come through. And our ratings, I think, that's pretty important to me. Our rating on Google right now is at 4.8. That was a big deal. Going through, you have great ratings on Lead Maps, on Google, on a couple different sources, and they're all high. So that's what we try to keep that up there. Important to you guys is tax dollars. So we've been able to bring in the city of Moreno Valley over 500,000 to date. So that brings us to Canyon Lake, which we want to try and duplicate those same numbers. So what we're going to do in Canyon Lake, or our projections in Canyon Lake, will be pretty similar. So what we're looking at as far as customers a day, we're looking at a projection of about 300 customers per day, average ticket of about $50 per customer, which is about $5.5 million in gross revenue. That equates to the numbers you see on the board there. So what we're doing currently in Moreno Valley is 8% to the city. So what we're offering to the city is the same. So off the top is 8%, which off those numbers is about $450,000 to the city. Now we know last year alone, I think the entire, all the businesses combined brought in about $300,000 in tax revenue. We will be at you guys. I think you guys get about 1.5% total in sales tax. So that's another approximately $50,000 to the city. So we hope to at least bring in $500,000 to you guys on your own. Well, ASAP, obviously. So looking at your guys' budget over the years, that 21-22 budget, revenue to the city was about $6.8 million, of which there was a shortfall of about $572,000. Granted, you guys are in the fire department, but we want to look at our numbers that we're bringing to the table, and that nearly covers the entire shortfall of the 22 budget. One of the questions that was asked earlier was what we're doing for the community, and that's, in our mind, a pretty big deal. If there is something to be said or directed, or a board that you guys want to put together that we can address or be a part of, we'd be happy to do so. There was a question about businesses in here. We're going to be seeing, 300 customers a day coming into the center. Railroad Canyon is a major thoroughfare, so we're hoping to get a lot of traffic from Elsinore, from Sun City, from Menifee, and the surrounding areas. So that should help the center in its entirety. Our location is behind Pepe's. Like Chris mentioned earlier, our office is in the same building, so we have our own parking lot behind Pepe's. It should be pretty private and off the main path. To staff, Chris runs this world, so I'll let him know that.
Well, actually, Derek and I run the day-to-day operations at City Point. We open up at 8 o'clock in the morning,
close at 10 o'clock at night. There's always a manager and sometimes two managers on that shift. It's ran at two shifts. First shift is 8 o'clock until 3:30. The second shift comes in at 3 o'clock, and they'll do overlap so everyone can get familiar with where we're leading off the day at, and then we close it off with at 10 o'clock at night. Our living wage, that was a big thing that we hit living wage. So I believe living wage was about $18 an hour. We're going to match that. Whatever that is at the time, we'll keep up with that, with the times on that. Health benefits, we do offer we do offer a benefit package to our full-time employees. Mainly that's management. We do have some employees though that for like fulfillment and some other areas that they're also full-time. Those ones will also reap those benefits as well. In-store discounts. We offer in-store discounts, pretty significant discounts to all of our employees. Big thing that I want to hit on is that we've done this for only one employee has taken advantage of this, but we offer a home buying assistance program. So a lot of our employees, they're making $18 an hour. They have goals, but at $18 an hour, even with two combined incomes in a household, it's hard to buy a house. What Craig and I are offering, because we are real estate agents, and we've offered it to only one employee has taken advantage of it, but we're offering to assist with buying a house to any one of our employees. What that means is we will help them locate a house, we will walk them through the process, and we will give them 100% of our commissions. So on a $300,000 house, that's $15,000. That $15,000 will cover their closing costs, their down payment.
Gentlemen, you have just about a minute left.
Okay. All right. Then we'll jump through fire and safety. Obviously, that's paramount to the city as well. We do have our fire and safety plan that's to code. Security is a big deal as well. We have armed security throughout the hours of operation, and we have unarmed security throughout the evening hours. We have. Security? Yeah. So our security team, they're located in Riverside County. They have been with us for 2 years now. We have 5 rotating security guards. We know who they are. We know who their families are. One thing about our security, it's not Barney Fife with a rubber band gun. I mean, his facility in Riverside County, they train Riverside County Police Department on tactical. So if, God forbid, something ever happens, we have the right team guarding our patrons, our employees, our facility, the community. For 2 years now, we've had that same service. We have not had one issue where we've had to call PD.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you.
All right. Okay, next up we have element 7. Hello. Josh, is the clicker on the podium there? Okay, great. Very good. Welcome. Thank you. Clicker is there, and you've got 15 minutes. Please speak into the mic. We're live streaming this, so we want to make sure the sound is good.
Got it.
All right. Floor is yours.
Awesome. So hello, city staff, residents of Canyon Lake. My name is Robert DeVito. I'm the founder and CEO of Element 7. I'm joined this evening by our local ownership and management team. you got Josh Sieber, you got Janine Horton. Jordan Morton actually just had a baby, so she wasn't able to attend. Jennifer Lawrence, Tim Cook, Shannon Luna, and Yazan Tom. And Greg Morano, behind me, is a former veteran, served 23 years in the U.S. Marine Corps. We are a team behind Element 7 in Canyon Lake, and we're here tonight to help you understand why we're the most experienced and qualified group to operate cannabis dispensary in your city. I founded Element 7 in 2018. Over the last 4 years, we have built our company to address significant legislative, compliance, security, safety, and changing of consumer behavior issues, opportunities that face the California cannabis industry. Tonight, I want to introduce you also to our head of operations, Joshua Black, to address the key areas of our business tonight.
Thank you. Element 7 was built on the principles of education, social justice, and having a very local voice and footprint in the markets we operate. We're looking to operate the business at 31682 Railroad Canyon Road, which is next door to the Canyon Lake Market, which I'm sure many of you know. And we're looking to really integrate ourselves into the local community, as we do in other small communities across California, in places like Rio Dell, which has a population of 3,000 people, Fort Bragg, which has a population of 8,000 people, Port Wayne, Fireball, which has about 9,000 people. We love small communities because we can make a big impact there. Our business plan is also focused on making sure that we have a very holistic wellness platform and solution of products. And that goes to not only how we educate our bartenders, but also the products we put on our shelf. Very focused on making sure that we've got great brands that really deliver a wellness benefit. We also have these interactive learning machines in the store. And what they allow people to do is people from the community, many of them are here tonight, may not have experienced cannabis before, or certainly may not have experienced the development of the cannabis industry as it is today, a very branded, packaged industry. And they can pick up certain products and put them on the shelf of these interactive learning machines and start to learn more about the products they're about to consume. Another part of our business plan is being vertically integrated. We have grow, manufacturing, and distribution operations all across California today in operation, which gives us not only a sourcing advantage, but also a price advantage that we can pass on to customers and consumers. The other part of our business plan is having a delivery business, which would allow us to reach outlying communities, but also, the elderly, aged people that live in these communities that may not have access to transport. One of the questions that came up tonight was, around security and deliveries and parking. The property that we've selected at the market there actually allows for deliveries to come into the rear. But one of our big parts of our business plan is we actually self-distribute our products now, which means once a week, you've got one large delivery of products coming in much the same way that CVS or Walgreens stock their shelves. So you haven't got 20 or 30 distribution vans continuously running through the city with, $1,000 or $2,000 worth of products. It allows us to deliver once a week in bulk. We've obviously got a very local management team here with all the people that Robert introduced earlier, as well as an experienced retail operations team. I spent 11 years of my career running Gatorade's business in Asia, and then worked with Nike for 7 years. We've got people like Amber on our team that work for the US Department of Justice and the Attorney General, prosecuting drug crimes over in Miami. Sydney, Greg Marino. We've got a local manager, Yazan, that we've already selected, who would be running the business with us. He has a lot of retail experience. He's worked in the market for many years. So we've really tried to find a model that balances and blends having a experienced head office retail team with a very local team. We think that's important because cannabis is a Schedule I drug. It's very regulated, has a lot of compliance issues. Single store operators, frankly, struggle with the compliance and complexity of this industry. An operator like Element 7 that has a multiple store footprint means we have a very sophisticated back office team that can really help grow the business. Our positioning also attracts a very broad customer group and we think maximizes taxes for the city. over 45% of our customers are aged 40 plus. And what that means is we're attracting a very broad audience of customers. Yes, we have the 21-year-olds that come in, but 45% of our customers are aged 40 plus. And that's really important because we're reaching a lot of people that frankly need medicine and need cannabis in those older age groups. I think what really attracts them to us is we are very educational focused, very holistic wellness focused, and they feel very comfortable in our store. We've proposed a 5% tax plus a 3% community benefit fee. So a total of 8% taxes. The taxes up here are the 5% shown as the local benefit, but we would add 3% in, which is part of our cost of goods. As you can see here, we forecast having around $4 million of gross sales in year 1, up to $9 million in year 5. And we believe these are realistic numbers. There's over 1,000 dispensaries in California today. The average dispensary does about $3.6 million in sales. We think because this is the only store in the city, we perform above those numbers. So we think $4 million in year 1 is a reasonable commercial and justifiable number. But you can see through there that how that flows through into cost of goods, OPEX, and gross income. And as I said, that 5% taxes plus the 3% community benefit fee. 5% taxes would generate about $1.5 million in benefits over 5 years. A big part of our business plan is having cannabis with a conscience, and what that means is, yes, we have a benefit fee that goes to the city, but we also do things like staff volunteer programs. Every full-time staff member spends 40 hours a year doing community work, and that could be helping them with a marketing plan at a local nonprofit or picking up trash. We've run gun and gang clinics in Fresno. We've done expungement clinics across California. In Chula Vista yesterday, we were picking up trash at one of the local beaches. We've done the same in Marina and other places like Fireball where we support the athletics team. So we're very focused on giving back. We also have a commitment to hire 100% of our staff locally. We will also support nonprofits in addition to that 8%. So we've committed a $200,000 per year community benefit direct fee. So that 3% is based on gross sales, 5% is the taxes plus the extra 200, and that would go to a range of nonprofits that we've already identified. We also have a local community manager. Initially, that would be Greg. We also have a SB 34 veterans program, and what that allows us to do is put medicine in the hands of veterans that can't afford it. We run that program at our location in Marina. We also will have a community board that really keeps us accountable to the pledges we make to the city. And we talked to Tim earlier about running a program around 9/11. We know that that's a big deal in the city. We know that there's events around it, and we know that they need to be funded. We'd be committed to that. Compliance really sits at the heart of our operations. We actually self-audit ourselves. We have our Chief Compliance Officer, Amber, comes into each location every 3 months, and we have a very comprehensive scorecard. We want to make sure that we identify issues before either the city or the DCC recognizes a problem. So really staying ahead of compliance is really critical. With regards to labor, equity, and diversity and inclusion, we are a very inclusive business. Over 48% of our middle management staff are female. We have a lot of people of color within the business. We are very inclusive and diverse. Everyone goes through the training. I truly believe that having a diverse workforce is really important for the business. You have to have a diverse workforce that really represent the consumer base. And as I said, we reach everyone from 18-year-old medical patients through to 65, 75-year-old customers that need the medicine. So a diverse workforce is really critical to our business. Some of the other stuff that we do around careers is we have a labor peace agreement with UFCW. We've worked with the Cannabis Science Institute to create Element 7 University, and that's where all our bartenders and staff go for training. We have a dedicated head of training, Anna Montoya, that sits within the business, and she is very focused on training bud tenders, shift leads, security personnel, customer service officers, and making sure that our managers are really getting both internal and external training to support the business. Our labour plans are very focused on building communities. We start wages at $19.50 an hour. We match 401k contributions. Every bud tender goes through 80 hours of training before they even sell a single ounce of cannabis. We offer health care and dental programs as well. And a lot of our staff will go into internships at our other stores where they learn how to be a bud tender or an inventory manager before they come back to this store. So we take people from the local community, put them into another community, learn the business, and then come back and run this one properly. And as I said, we would commit to 100% of local staff. With regards to safety, we're very focused on building businesses that keep both our staff and our customers safe. And that includes things like this fire safety system, incident reports, making sure that we're tightly aligned with the local police force and the fire department. We have great relationships where we operate with local law enforcement to the point that they select our stores as the ones that they bring all their new recruits through, because we're very open to them walking through whenever they want, looking at whatever they want. We think that that's a benefit to our business because they keep us safe. We do roll down shutters at the store as well, so that at night time, if someone does manage to break through the glass, they now have to deal with a shutter to get into the store, and probably by the time they get there, the police are there. We also have in our design a man trap lobby, which means that someone walks in off the street and they're in a glass lobby where they get checked in. And once they pass through that, then they're allowed to go into the store. And that really gives us both the crowd control, but also a very strong security presence. We would have guards within that lobby. They wouldn't be standing outside on the pavement, they would be inside the lobby. From a security perspective, you can see here our floor plan. As I said earlier, we've got that man trap lobby. We would have cameras. We use 4K cameras at every location within the business, exterior, interior. Every transaction is monitored by a camera that faces down. We have a very secure storage area. Those walls are lined with steel plates, glass breaks. We have devices that if someone's trying to cut into the wall from another adjacent unit or from the exterior, it will vibrate and set off the alarm before they get in. We have obviously a very secure data room. In that data room, we use Cisco Meraki devices down to run our own Wi-Fi networks, which is really important from a data security point of view. We actually did have a hack about 9 months ago at one of our facilities, and that forced us to really look at how we manage data networks and security systems. So we've learned that every single door in the facility has a swipe card access as well. And everyone, depending on their different level of authorization within the business, will be allowed to access different rooms.
You have just about a minute left.
Okay. Looking at qualifications, you can see here that we are one of the most local retailers in California. We have operations scanning from north to south in places like Rio Dell, Port Hueneme, Fort Bragg, Fireball, Cathedral City, and we have a manufacturing facility now in Fireball. We have 5 other sites under construction today. We just passed final inspection on Mendota and Willits, so they will be opening next week. Looking at neighborhood compatibility, we think we've got an excellent site, tremendous amount of parking at that site. The location next to the market obviously is off the main thoroughfare a little bit, which we think is great for youth. The proposed location has a huge amount of parking. We can service the rear of the apartment so that all the deliveries come through. As I said, we are not within any sensitive use. There are other locations closer to the library, closer to the church. We think we found a very optimal location within the complex because of its proximity to both parking, but also there's no other youth businesses around us. And that is element 7. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, next we have Culture Club. Hello, hello. Coming up to the podium. Got the clicker there. We've got 15 minutes. Please speak into the microphone since we're live streaming. We want to make sure that it picks up your voice well. And you have 15 minutes. The floor is yours.
Hello, Canyon Lake staff and community members. We are Culture CC of Canyon Lake Incorporated. We're excited to present Culture Cannabis Club as the best operator for the city. Culture Cannabis Club is the most experienced team with an ideal location that can open faster than any other applicant, and we're prepared to offer the most revenue to the city. I am Chris Francie, Culture's president and a 15% owner. I'm a successful entrepreneur who's played a role in pioneering the regulated cannabis industry in California since 2015. My cannabis business experience features retail storefront, delivery, cultivation, manufacturing, and distribution operations. My day-to-day involvement will be focused on finance and compliance with regular audits and review of policies on site with the staff on an ongoing basis.
Hi, my name is Julie Lee. I'm Culture's Director of Administration and 20% owner. I have spent over 5 years owning and operating in the California cannabis industry. I'm the founder of the Culture Cannabis Club brand, and I have made it Culture's mission to bring something special to the industry that stands out from other well-known brands. As the Director of Administration and Brand Curator, my involvement in the day-to-day is ensuring all design, branding, marketing, and operations are consistent with Culture's ethos of focusing on the customer first.
Hello, my name is Paul Tosanian. I'm Culture's Director of Community Relations and also a 51% owner. I bring valuable cannabis experience, and I also bring valuable experience with diverse construction-related businesses. I'm currently an owner and operator of a cannabis micro-business license located in Riverside, California. I will be heavily involved in the day-to-day operations of the business and will be physically present in the store 5 days a week, overseeing operations.
Hello, my name is Devin Julian and I'm the CEO. My background is focused heavily in operations management across several different regulated industries. I've been involved in the cannabis industry for more than 13 years. And day to day, I will be responsible for ensuring that all operations are in line with Culture's mission of operating a compliant and profitable business that contributes to the customers and the community's well-being. I will visit the store every single week on a regular basis to ensure that we are accomplishing these goals. I'm a 14% owner. In sum total, this group collectively has combined 20 plus years in the cannabis business with 20 licenses owned, 20 retail permits under the Culture brand, and more than $50 million in collective cannabis revenue managed by us. We are committed to education, technology, security, and community. We have the experience and the team to build this store out more quickly than anyone else, and we will operate a compliant, safe, and profitable store, contributing the most tax dollars to the city of Canyon Lake. Our proposed location is 31524 Railroad Canyon Road, where Real Deals is currently located. We met with the current tenant, Mike Sims, who needs an alternative space to operate his business from, and the transition will be easy as soon as we receive the necessary approvals. Our location is visible from Railroad Canyon Road, located next to the city manager and law enforcement, who will help ensure that we are safe and compliant. As you can see, being near the front of the shopping center means a customer just pulls in and parks. They will not have to pull deep into the shopping center, causing traffic congestion or take up valuable parking from busy restaurants, grocery stores, the library, or other businesses. Access is traffic light controlled for driver and pedestrian safety. And unlike some proposed locations, the driveway in our location is not a right across from the city gates. Our customers will not add to the congestion at the gates, and residents who are not customers will not have to see our storefront day in and day out as they exit the facility. Finally, most surrounding uses close by 5 p.m., meaning during peak hours, we will have ample parking. Here are some artistic renderings of our proposed location. What we want to bring is a high-end, education-focused, luxurious shopping experience to Canyon Lake. Notice the minimal signage with an armed security guard standing watch out front. Notice the spa-like reception, which is access controlled, only allowing ID-verified customers onto the sales floor. As you can see, you can work one-on-one with a cannabis consultant or browse the product packaging and use our high-tech touchscreens to learn more about every single product in the store. I am an owner of EconServe Construction located out of Orange County. We have all the trades on staff and we have built out every store that exists today. We engage with high-end designers and architects who contract with big names such as Starbucks and Panda Express. We have the experience to get through the land use, building, and construction phases faster than anyone else. We stock our finishes and casework locally, meaning that we will not suffer from supply chain disruptions, and our architectural work is already underway for the project, so when we are chosen, we can hit the ground running and be on city agendas quickly. We have 2.3 million in funding available, and we project 822,000 for tenant improvements and first 3 months of operating expenses. We can be operational in 6 months post land use entitlements and building permits, and I can guarantee there will be no delays in contributing jobs or revenue to the city of Canyon Lake. Culture Cannabis Club of Canyon Lake is dedicated to fitting into the neighborhood and ensuring we maintain a discreet aesthetic with minimal signage. A community relations officer will be available 24/7 by phone. Their number will be given out to surrounding businesses and posted publicly on the front window for anybody to get. Nuisance and loitering control will happen from our discreet armed security guards, and we have odor mitigation filters and policy. I believe I already mentioned it, but we're next to the city administration building and the police. We guarantee there won't be any odors. We guarantee there won't be any loitering. We guarantee there won't be any on-site consumption. Culture contributed, we were the first ones to book a community outreach advertising in Canyon Lake Insider that you see in front of you. The venue did change and we ended up at the Lighthouse. However, Culture contributed almost $2,000 to the local economy that evening. Paul and I personally met each attendee that night, introduced ourselves, answered questions, and completed a presentation. We believe we are the only ones that went to those lengths to reach out to the community. Our safety plan has been prepared by a certified fire life safety specialist, and it includes systems with panic buttons, medical emergency response, and fire. We have incident report procedures and evacuation routes clearly posted. Culture Cannabis Club takes security of the highest importance. We want to maintain our record of 0 burglaries, robberies, or calls for service. The focus of this security is to protect our employees, customers, and our community. People's well-being is the top priority of our security measures. We have bank-level video surveillance with 28 plus cameras. We have a secure reception area and a policy requiring customers to be ID verified several times before making a purchase. We will have armed security guards on site 24/7, and during our outreach, we heard that cash on hand was a concern, as it usually is. We have 25% of our purchases taking place via debit card, and we will have regular armored car cash pickups that take our cash to a bank named Herring Bank. This means minimal cash on site. Not only is culture bringing high revenue to the city, but we're also bringing good paying jobs. We plan to employ 25 employees from day one and increase that to 30 employees as sales and delivery begin to ramp up. I promise 100% of our employees will be from Canyon Lake. My partner Paul is a local Riverside resident and will be working with the staff every day. We have a minimum starting rate of $19 an hour, and we offer health, dental, vision, paid time off, paid volunteer hours, and career pathing. We are committed to diversity and inclusion, and all employees go through a background check and a rigorous 4-week on-the-job and in-classroom training. We'll be open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week, and the guard will be there 24/7, patrolling our location as well as the town center, the local eateries and bars, restaurants, and hotel. We have a strict 3-step ID verification and check-in procedure. We plan to see about 450 customers a day. We use trees as our point of sale with metric integration for state and track and trace. We have mobile ordering similar to Starbucks, so you order from the website and you can come to a designated pickup counter and get your order after being ID verified. We offer delivery as well to reach customers that may be disabled or otherwise cannot come to the storefront and increase our ability to serve not only Canyon Lake but the surrounding communities. This will be done using GPS-tracked, energy-efficient, discrete vehicles that are under cameras watch at all times. Now I want to walk you through our high-end focused business model. Other applicants want to put product behind a counter, and the only way to shop is to work one-on-one with the salesperson. How does that person know the hundreds of products in that store? Are they incentivized to sell you a certain product or brand that day? Are they going to take the time to make sure that I get the product that I truly need? Culture focuses on putting the customer's needs first. We do this through friendly cannabis consultants who are never given commissions or spiffs for a certain product. What you see here is our state-of-the-art touchscreen technology. Our walls are lined with product packaging similar to a traditional retail that you may see in a Nordstrom's or a 7-Eleven. This packaging does not contain any live packaging, and you can pick up that packaging and read it and see what that manufacturer wanted you to see in here. You can then set it on any of the large touchscreens throughout the facility and see some of the product info that's objective, not subjective. Things like THC or CBD concentrations. What medical ailments may it treat? And other product info, including the price. Customer can sit there and browse the screens and see every single product within our categories, and they can walk around and view the packaging in a low pressure environment, or they can work one-on-one with a cannabis consultant who's going to take the time to get to know them and their needs and make recommendations. Culture prides itself on our community benefits program. We will give 1% of gross receipts to local nonprofits, clubs, and other organizations contributing to Canyon Lake residents. Our commitment is projected to be nearly $400,000 within the first 3 years. Culture was one of the first to speak to Ms. Odell and join the Chamber of Commerce. We are sponsoring a speed networking event in June. We want to be part of the business and residential community here in Canyon Lake. We will partner with the Property Owners Association and the city to donate to new Canyon Lake Fire Department, veterans programs, 9/11 memorials, Little League, Wakeboard Club, and many other great causes throughout the community. We offer our veterans a 20% discount as an appreciation for their service, and we offer new customers a 25% discount to try the store out. Culture is proud to put this in our development agreement contract with the city. Culture Cannabis Club is confident that we can hit our projections with start at $15.3 million in year 1 and grow to nearly $19 million in year 3. We are proposing the highest tax rate of all of the applicants. We guarantee we will be the highest revenue store proposed with a 1% standard sales tax rate in Canyon Lake plus the 8% cannabis tax rate we are proposing. We will contribute nearly $4 million in revenue in the first 3 years to the city. We will offer a guarantee for the minimum contribution to the city so that a budget can be based on a minimum revenue amount, but we are confident that we will hit our projections and the 8% will be millions to the city's coffers for police, fire, safety, and other needs of the community. When Culture Cannabis Club is profitable, we want the city to be as well. Again, to reiterate, 8% is tax revenue and 1% to our community benefits. Now, how are we so confident in these numbers? First, Culture is vertically integrated, and we have more locations than any other applicant today. We have the best buying power with more than 20 locations and central distribution. This allows us to attract the most customers with our large selection and lowest prices out of anybody. We will be the fastest to open. We offer the highest wages and the best benefits.
You have just about a minute left.
Okay, good, I'm almost done. We're the most safe and secure. We have a high-end retail concept not found in any other proposal or any neighboring retail location in the area. Nobody offers the experience that we do, and we believe that people will come from all over to purchase from Culture Cannabis Club here in Canyon Lake. We offer the most tax revenue to the city with the 8% and the 1% going to community benefits. Culture Cannabis Club is the best choice for Canyon Lake for the retail permit available. Citizens and staff of this beautiful city, I thank you for your time, and I look forward to partnering with you soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and finally we have the syndicate. Hello. Come on up, step up to the podium. Hello.
Have to click this down a little bit.
That's good. You got the clicker there? Good, good. Yeah, please speak into the microphone so.
You got test?
Yep, we got you. You got 15 minutes and the floor is yours.
Okay, sounds great. Mayor Castillo, fellow city council members, and city manager, I would like to thank you for allowing us to present here today. I'm Rich Moline, and I'm a 30-year Canyon Lake resident, and father and president of SoCal Therapeutics Inc., DBA, the Syndicate Canyon Lake. We are here to present our proposal for the Syndicate Dispensary at 31580 Railroad Canyon Road. In my 30 years, I've been very active belonging to many clubs. I'm currently the Commodore of the Yacht Club, responsible for the Parade of Lights, as well as volunteering on several POA committees, including creating the IT committee that helps source software solutions in the past and present, such as Dwelling Live and our point of sale system. During the past 2.5 years, I have met with hundreds of Canyon Lake residents about the opening of a cannabis dispensary in person, have received hundreds of surveys, and I have provided those to the city council. The number one comment was always that it must be locally owned. That does not mean Riverside, does not mean Wildemore, but a Canyon Lake resident that fully understands the uniqueness of our great community. I'd like to introduce you to Sean Belshner, Chief Operating Officer of the Syndicate Canyon Lake.
Thank you, Rich. Good evening, everybody. Syndicate is one of the oldest cannabis businesses in Southern California. We have 9 retails, 3 cultivations, 3 distribution sites, and 1 Type 7 manufacturing. We also have another 2 retails in construction. We have never sold any license and don't intend to. Many of the presenters this evening, we've actually purchased license from them. We make and carry high quality cannabis goods that are priced aggressively. Our retails provide guests with a safe, comfortable, and unique shopping experience. I am Sean Belshner, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer. I'm an owner and an operator of the Syndicate. I have 4.5 years in the cannabis industry. I'm a father of 3 young children, and I coach youth sports. Gabriel Guzman is the founder of the syndicate. He brings 15 years as an owner and operator of the syndicate. And of course, you all know Rich Mullane. He's a 30-year Canyon Lake resident. He initiated the need for cannabis ordinance, paid for the feasibility study, and spent 3 years doing outreach with the community on the cannabis issue itself. He is the reason we are all here tonight. The three of us own and, if approved, will operate the Syndicate Canyon Lake. We are all hands-on owner-operators and will be present at the store on a day-to-day basis. Next, I'd like to tell you about our location. Our proposed location is 31580 Railroad Canyon Road. This is in the town center next to Sports Stop and PZA. The property is zoned commercial and meets all sensitive use requirements. The site has 136 parking spaces and has access through public transportation. Our proposed retail is a 2,300 square foot unit in a shared commercial building. We picked this location for a number of reasons. This area is off the beaten path as to not overwhelm the police department, city hall, and the POA, and the grocery store parking spots as well. It's the right size, offers abundant parking and rear loading. We will maintain the look of the building's exterior and will fortify the front windows for security purposes. We estimate it'll take around 6 months from approval to the grand opening. Welcome to the Syndicate, where we transport our guests to a prohibition speakeasy. We have curated every detail to provide a unique experience. As you can see from the photos, the lobby has a library theme. We have designed our lobby to be discreet with the hidden security features, including a hidden bookcase door to the retail floor. Once checked in, security will allow access by triggering the electrified lock. Our sales room features bright lights, brick facades, flock wallpaper, and display cabinets. We custom make our furnishings with period-specific materials. We work hard to ensure our guests' comfort and give them experience, not just a purchase. We designed our floor plan to maximize efficiency and security. The green arrow shows the guest's typical journey. The guest arrives at the lobby and goes through our check-in and ID verification process. Each guest has a personal bud tender while shopping. The guest then checks out at one of our POS stations and leaves to the lobby with an opaque exit bag. Guests do not have access to our back of house. This is a limited access area where we do our work. Our back of house features a secure storage room that is built like a vault, 2 offices, an employee break room, and an area for receiving deliveries. Next, I'd like to tell you about the business model that makes this all happen. The Syndicate has a unique business model. We make and sell high-quality cannabis goods at great prices. Our customers are loyal, repeat shoppers who spend on average $70 per visit. Our estimated startup cost is around $1.5 million. Our biggest startup costs are the build out of the store, initial inventory, and employee recruitment and training. We are a self-funded company and have $2.6 million available for this project alone. Our 3-year pro forma shows annual revenue ranging from $5 to $10 million per year. We plan on spending around $1 million annually on local workforce. We based our financial model on data from our Lake Elsinore locations. We are confident on our ability to deliver on this plan. The Syndicate's hour of operations will be from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. We expect to serve 20 to 30 guests an hour, which is about 250 to 350 guests per day. We take our responsibility to keep cannabis out of youth hands very seriously. Our entry employee verifies each guest's ID and age. Our check-in procedure ensures that only adults 21 and over are allowed. Medical patients must also present a medical card. We store customer information in our POS system called Meadow. IDs are checked a second time at checkout to ensure that no sales to minors have occurred. The Syndicate is a vertically integrated business. This means we grow and manufacture our own cannabis goods and control our own supply chain. We also purchase cannabis goods from licensed cultivators, manufacturers, and distributors. We carry 1,200 unique SKUs. Nearly half of our sales will be from cannabis flower and pre-rolled joints. The rest will be manufactured cannabis goods, including edibles, concentrates, topicals, branded clothing, and accessories. We carry a wide variety of products that offer something for everyone. We also intend to do limited delivery, and we'll start with one unmarked vehicle. We outfit the vehicles with GPS, which we track at all times. For security, cannabis is stored in a locked container. We also verify customer IDs twice, first when the order is taken and again at the point of delivery. Drivers return immediately after delivery. We promote security in everything that we do, including when we receive new inventory. We receive inventory in the rear of the store. Unlike our competitors, we distribute. This means only one distributor will visit the site, not 20. Our delivery schedule is confidential and changes for security purposes. The manager and security supervise inventory deliveries. Cameras record the entire transaction. We inspect all new shipments for compliance. We transport accepted goods to the storage room where our team records them in Tometto and track and trace. As you can see, the syndicate adheres to the industry best practice with its operations, but we are nothing without our team. The syndicate is the only finalist that is owned and managed by a Canyon Lake resident. Our majority shareholder and president, Rich Moline, has lived here for over 30 years. In addition, our opening general manager is a Canyon Lake resident. Our general contractor, Sean Tuso, and finance advisor, Stan Gonzalez, are also longtime Canyon Lake residents. With such a strong local connection, our operations are designed to meet community expectations. We expect to create 31 jobs, starting wage is $16.50 an hour plus tips. Our compensation is competitive with retail jobs. Our base pay ranges from $16.50 to $30 an hour. Eligible employees receive $5 to $7 per hour in tips. In addition, we offer competitive benefits including employer-sponsored healthcare, dental, 15 days paid time off, 40 hours paid volunteer time, and a 401k. We respect our workers' rights to organize and have entered into a labor peace agreement with the UFCW labor union. We intend to hire local as much as possible. Our goal is to have 100% local workforce. Similarly, we want to have a diverse workforce. Our goal is to have 50% of working hours fulfilled by women, minorities, veterans, and others facing barrier to employment. To recruit a diverse workforce, we will work with county employment resources and the local clubs to identify candidates. We also advertise jobs in the job openings in the Friday Flyer and the Canyon Lake Insider. We do not require prior experience to join our team. We provide a comprehensive paid training to all members of our team. Every employee receives a certificate from the Cannabis Training University, and our training covers all aspects of our operations, including compliance, cannabis science, consumption methods, product knowledge, and dosing. We provide additional training for management. Our team has many opportunities to grow with our organization as we expand. Opportunities for advancement are publicly posted. Our continued education program includes tuition assistance, leadership training, and virtual courses. The safety of our team, guests, and surrounding community is the utmost importance. Our safety plan considers all possible fire, medical, and hazardous situations. Professional fire consultant Barry Urbina at Desert Fire prepared our safety plan. In case of fire, our location has 2 points of evacuation, one in front and one in back. We will also have fire extinguishers, smoke detectors, Knox box on the outside of the facility entrance, and fire sprinklers. For accident and incident reporting, we utilize incident logs and medical and fire emergency reporting forms. Finally, we provide safety training upon hiring an employee and on an annual basis. Training includes identifying an emergency, location of exits and evacuation plans, and OSHA workplace safety. We also hold mock drills throughout the year. Should an emergency arrive, our team will know what to do immediately. In order to keep the location secure, we have a comprehensive security plan. The county's premier cannabis security firm, Sapphire Risk, prepared our plan. They have completed over 400 cannabis security projects. We will have at least 2 security guards on site during hours of operations and 1 through the night. Security guards are responsible for keeping the premise safe, preventing diversion and youth access, and securing the premise, among other duties. Our store will also have an alarm system. We will use motion detectors, panic buttons, glass break detectors, and outdoor sirens and strobes. To ensure proper accounting, we record all customer transactions under security cameras. We check cash drawers throughout the day, and the end-of-day counts are done blindly without knowing the total beforehand. Cash is stored in a smart safe that requires 2 keys to open. The syndicate has access to traditional banking. An armored car service picks up and deposits our cash. To ensure security, cash pickups will occur in full view of security cameras. Security will supervise and escort the armored transport employee at all times. Our premise diagram shows the different levels of access control. The green area is unrestricted lobby where the customers check in. The yellow area shows the retail area where ID verification is required. And the red area represents the employee-only limited access area, which only can be accessed with a key card. 32 security cameras will be installed to allow for optimal views of the premise. Footage will be stored and available for 90 days. All cash and cannabis transactions happen under camera. Finally, For all operations involving transportation or delivery of cannabis, our vehicles will be outfitted with GPS systems for live monitoring. The vehicles and drivers are disclosed to the city and the state. We will utilize cameras to record and monitor the loading, unloading, as well as the transportation. And now I'd like to hand it back to Rich.
Our operation proactively addresses conduct that might lead to complaints. We prohibit loud music at events. Our staff pick up litter daily, and our security team will ensure parking is available and there is no loitering on site. Myself and the general manager will serve as a 24-hour community relations contact, and neighbors can reach me 24 hours per day. Finally, we will implement a nuisance prevention plan, code of conduct to ensure customers and staff behave appropriately. We will do everything we can to control odor at the proposed site. Our technical odor control plan features carbon filtration to absorb potential odors. We also use negative pressure to keep odorous air within the facility. We will contract with an HVAC professional to maintain the system annually, and extra carbon filters will be kept on site. We store cannabis waste in a secure container in the inventory storage room. Cannabis goods are rendered unusable prior to disposal, and we keep detailed records of all waste. We will hire Cannabis Waste Solutions to transport our waste to a waste facility. We believe the syndicate is the most qualified applicant to receive the permit in Canyon Lake. We are overfunded by $1.4 million. Our location has the most and the best parking, and we will not sell our license. And most importantly, majority local Canyon Lake ownership. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. We'll go to our second public comment period. Mike, if you could have the sound turned on upstairs. If you could have the sound turned on upstairs, that would be good. Okay. Again, if you wish to speak, and we don't already have a speaker card from you, if you could fill one out and bring it up to the city clerk. Okay. The applicants upstairs will be able to hear your questions and comments, and they will have one more opportunity to respond to them. So with that, let's move into public comment. City clerk.
Thank you. Just a reminder, you have 2 minutes. We're going to start with Bob Whiteside.
Hear me? Testing. Good evening. I've heard some fine presentations tonight. So one of the things that I have to comment on, and though it's been a common thread through all of this, would be the parking issues. So it's in my opinion that the syndicate should be awarded the permit to operate, not only because of their applicant score of 100%, but because of their location, because of the least congestion, due to the fact that there is more than ample parking just to the east of their proposed storefront. And that's the area that is, by the way, over by the postal, rapid pack and the veterinarians. One of the big things is that all becomes almost like a ghost town after 5 p.m. Before that, there's still a lot of room. Some of these other applicants that we've seen, they've shown artist renderings or Photoshop photos of, I've never seen any of these locations they showed as blank as that. I don't care what time of the day or night it is, there's always some amount of cars. I've seen a few of them that had no cars. So I've lived here a lot of years. I've been up in that town center a lot of times during day and night. And I've never seen that. So something's, that's just not true. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Next, we have Charlene Wagner.
Hello. My husband and I live right outside of Canyon Lake. So I absolutely think that Culture Cannabis is a well-established company, good fit for the area, as it's right next to the substation. It's a discreet location. It'll bring more business to the area, and will also provide security to the area as well. I do like the support to the fire, police, and vets. That's most important to homeowners like us. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Next, we have Brian Saratelli. No, Brian? Okay, we'll circle back. Nancy Contreras.
Hello. Just a couple of points that came to mind after I had the opportunity to listen to everybody. They talked about customers, the majority of the customers would be that they've analyzed 40 and over at 40%, 45%, which brings the other 55% of the population, the younger crowd. Most of them had the average customer coming in about 350 to 450 people a day at a minimum. I'm not sure how the planning department ever approved that because I can't see more than 400 people coming through this parking lot. Is the parking lot going to be revamped and who is going to pay for that? Secondly, the high revenue is not surprising, but not one of these groups talked about children or education funding, which was a little alarming to me because they should really be trying to protect our children around here. The safety for this area is going to create, this type of business is going to create a lot of probably non-welcome people, so to speak. And I don't know if we're really prepared to take care of that. With the revenue that these people are coming in with, are they prepared to help our community support more law enforcement in this community or in this area? Because we're gonna need it. And that's all I have right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Gary.
I'm gonna be brief, because I wasn't prepared to say anything here, because I wanted to find out what was happening. Somebody called me. But, I started listening to these guys when they came over there, because my background was in training. I want to hear something they said about it. Some of them had good presentations, some of them didn't. But my biggest concern is I live on Skipjack. You know where Skipjack is? Right by the East Gate. Now, you got these cars coming off against the road, and they're going to come into the gate. You only got one turn to get into the center there. That is going to be a madhouse. You got 300 more cars coming today. Yeah. So you only got one way to come in. The other thing is, and this is from a personal standpoint, regarding the East Gate, who here has been in the back of that center to see how they're going to deliver this product? I'm sorry. The East Gate, what we used to call back in the alley. And they're going to deliver this product through this alley. But I live right there at the alley. So this product is going to be right in my backyard. I'm done here. Thank you.
Last call for Brian. Do we have Brian here? He left. Okay, thank you. No further comments, Manager.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for the comments. Okay, we will give the applicants a chance to respond to those comments and questions. If I could ask for the TV upstairs to be muted again, and then we'll go in the same order. So Empire Gardens will be the first, followed by Sitcoy if Empire Gardens does not want to do it.
You guys didn't want to sit over with us?
Okay, actually, we did have one individual who had indicated an interest to make a comment. And so we're going to hold the applicant at the stairs there, hold them off on coming in. Okay, and I can't ask her to unmute because she won't be able to hear me. Okay, we have one final speaker. If I could have the applicants wait outside the door for a second. Mike, come on up. Close the door. Mike, I can't ask her to unmute. She won't be able to hear me.
It's unmuted, Chris. It's unmuted.
Okay, it's unmuted. We're good. Just close the door. We have one last comment. Okay, Mike, where's yours?
Thank you for letting me make a comment. I apologize. I didn't know that we had to fill out the card the second time. I thought we could speak before and after. So my apologies for that. Thank you for letting me speak. As most of you know, I love the city of Canyon Lake. We're blessed to live here, and I entrust in the city manager and the city officials of Canyon Lake to make the best decision. I feel very strongly that you guys will, and you're going to look at all of the applicants fairly and equally. With that being said, I have gotten to know Culture Cannabis Club, and I feel that they had a really good presentation, but I also feel that they're going to be one of the people that can come into our community, produce quickly. They're going to be able to create revenue for the city. I think I feel that the city should also look at how much revenue each candidate can bring to the city, along with their percentages, and also their track record. I think this company has a long track record. I think they have a good track record. They're in Long Beach, they're in Reno Valley, they're established, they're operational, they're up and running, and they're producing revenue for all those cities currently. I feel that what the city should get out of this is basically things that we need, fire, more police, more safety, more security, more things for the city, and this is going to create that revenue. And I feel that they're pretty much the best candidate if that was my choice. But I appreciate all you guys going through this and listening to us and going through this process, and I think it's a very fair process. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
Mr. City Manager, I did receive one additional public comment card.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. Steve?
How you doing? I'm Steve Wilcox, a local business owner here in the city of Canyon Lake. During the presentations, several people made a reference to that they are not ones to sell off their license, which leads me to believe that there is a couple applicants that have a history of doing that. So my question is, of the applicants that you've been awarded, how many of those have you opened up in the first 6 months? How many of those are still pending where you haven't opened up? And do you have any pending legal issues with that happening to you? I get the point of building up a business and want to have an exit plan and sell that. However, if you had to take that money that you said is gonna be your startup cost, put it into an escrow account, and that money is non-refundable if you don't open up within the proposed startup time, would you still be willing to go forward? Thank you.
Okay. Let's go ahead and mute again upstairs and bring in Empire Gardens. That's a good point. Next time we'll have music. I haven't been checking my phone. We're not going to do questions via text to the city managers. Welcome again.
Thank you, good to be back.
All right. Okay, you have 5 minutes this time.
Okay, we were having a little trouble hearing upstairs, but from the best we got question 1, we believe was about parking. We did get a parking engineer study, and we passed, and we put the study in the application. We have our landlord and property owner here. We believe there's about 46 to 48 parking spaces in the center and 2 separate ingresses and egresses. Additionally, our calculations at our other shops indicate about 5 minutes for each customer, 5 to 7 minutes. And we think our parking is sufficient to handle that. Shadi?
Yeah, I want to speak about community benefits because it's definitely a passion of mine. When we get back, we don't say, hey, Empire Gardens gave me this backpack. Empire Gardens gave me this turkey. You know, I personally take care of that. From masks, when no mask was available, we passed out over 100,000 masks. Went straight to the nurses in the hospitals. I did it myself with our supervisors. With turkeys, we give it out to the families, direct to the families. With toys, every year, we give out thousands of toys. Personally, back to school backpacks, Easter, scholarships. So, and we've never sold a location. So a lot of these locations, you see 10, 20, 30 locations, they're buying, they're operating, they're selling their location. We're the first to operate, we're the first to open, and that's what I love what Steve said, that was so valid. So that's what happens. In Reno Valley, there was 23 applicants that applied. The first 8 got the license, and they had about an 8-month head start. The rest of the 15 got it. We're the first ones open out of the other 15. Second shop out of all Reno Valley. In Paris, we're the second shop open. The other shop beat us by 1 day. We're gonna open, and they're shut down actually. In revenues, that's one thing that we're strong at. We can bring our tax records. That's something that we love to hear. So we can talk about revenue.
Yeah, you had a few applicants in here, and we're in other jurisdictions together, so we'd love the opportunity to get in depth about our revenues. In Reno Valley, where I think a lot of the applicants are together, we produce the highest tax revenues in the city, probably higher than the other applicants in that jurisdiction combined. So we'd love the opportunity to bring those facts and figures to the city because results speak the language we need to speak today. And I think one question was about persons from maybe outside of the community or maybe loitering that would occur. You know, once again, that's why we chose our location to be a stop and shop. We think it's an ideal location to not interrupt the city's culture or goings-ons, and we think anyone that may or may not be from the community or just passing by would not disrupt the community and stopping there and shopping.
Another thing, we applied in Corona. My brother went up there, he says, I'm from Canyon Lake. The reason we lost Corona is because he's from Canyon Lake. So it's kind of, it doesn't make sense. You have all these shops up there that everybody says, we're from Corona, and I'm looking at them at Canyon Lake. You have every operator here. You have the lawyer, you have the operator, you have the owner, you have the owner of the property. You have everybody that's accountable. And that's, I think, the biggest problem with the majority of the world, right? You're not holding anybody accountable to bring you the song and the dance. At the end of the day, you know who's in front of you. And we're not leaving, you know what I mean?
I didn't get a chance to say too much earlier. I own and operate the Eastport Market. I also own the property, and when I took over that store, there was probably about 30% space that was rented out. The whole upstairs when I got there in 2009 was like empty. It was really, really run down. I don't know if anybody remembers that center in 2009, 2010. They shut the road down. It was really bad for us there for a while when they built the bridge. So we went through some changes, and we got the gas station up and running. We're so happy to work with the city, fueling the city vehicles and bringing as much revenue as that little market, that little center can. And teaming up with Empire Gardens, I think, is going to be huge, huge benefit for the city. Combining the gas tax dollars, the sales tax dollars that we produce out of that little market, and what they can bring to the table. The proven track record is unbelievable, and I'm really excited to see this come together if it does. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your time, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We got like 40 seconds, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So for the parking issue, one thing that we are gonna do for the community benefit, anybody that does live in Canyon Lake, we will deliver to you at no cost. So that's one thing that's gonna help us with parking. I think that's a big benefit for the community.
Well, thank you, everybody. The other questioners, we had, like I said, a hard time hearing up there, but that's what we got down on paper. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, Sipcoy. Welcome back.
Hello, thanks for having us back.
Okay, I've got 5 minutes this time.
Gentlemen, before you start, if I can just ask you to speak clearly into the microphone where our viewers at home are having some trouble hearing you guys. So, thank you.
Anytime? Yes. Okay, so to address the questions, thank you for asking. One of the first ones is as far as for children. Federally, we are not legally allowed to put money in the hands of anything involving kids. Currently at the location that we have, we've had a really good program that's been successful with having multiple times a year. We have a canned food drive, we have a toy drive for Christmas. The customers bring something in, they get an applied discount towards their shopping. That's worked out really good. We give it back to fire and to police in the area. And typically, the last time we did it with police, they brought it to a local school and tallied up with their food drive. That seemed to be something helpful. As far as security and watching over the parking lot, that's something where we believe in our area, our parking lot is a little bit more controlled and secure. There's over 40 spots that we have. Security's got a very close view on it, making sure that there's no hand-to-hand passing of sales going into minors. Along with that, all of the goods that would be coming into our store would be inspected primarily upon entering at our first microbusiness location. We have SOPs in place to make sure that everything that comes in is properly packaged, has proper labeling, and still has a non-tamper with child restrained packaging sort of goods. It would get a secondary inspection or a third inspection upon it receiving the Canyon Lake facility as it is entered into the building. Again, we have 40 spots. We believe that we would be out of sight and out of mind. There is nothing that would encroach any other businesses with where our parking is. At the back of the building, we have got secure access also too for deliveries. And then to close it all off, we believe that we would be opened up within 60, maybe 90 days max of getting issued of the license. Currently in Moreno Valley took us just around 6 months. It's 30,000 square foot, but it also has got about 20,000 square foot of cultivation, which is a giant aspect of construction. We also believe that we are one of the only applicants that own our real estate, not part of it being a family, but we actually own it. So the TIs would come into to action immediately upon the permit. We'd like to start generating revenue for the city the second we can. I believe that closes it all up. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, element 7 is next. Welcome back. Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. Okay, you have 5 minutes this time.
Thank you, Mr. Mann.
Before you start, if I can just ask that you speak loudly into the microphone, our viewers at home are having some trouble hearing.
Sorry, Ann, no problem.
Thank you.
I'll do my best. There was a couple of questions I wanted to address. First of all, there was a lady that got up, I missed her name, apologies. She had a pink shirt, it may have been magenta or fuchsia. She talked about children. So our approach to children is we're very selective about the packaging, the brands, and the products coming on our shelf. We don't want stuff that is kiddie focused, appealing to children, or anything like that. We're very selective in the brands we curate that come on the shelf. We don't believe that cannabis brands should be directly educating children about cannabis, but we do work with groups like local law enforcement to give them funds to do that job. We think that's more appropriate. It's akin to Marlboro trying to teach kids not to smoke. We think that's the job for other groups, and we want to support that because most of us are parents, and I've got an 11 and a 14-year-old kid. We do have a man-trap lobby specifically designed to create a barrier between the street and the store, which we think is great for protecting children from visibility of cannabis. The other thing is we use a POS platform called Trees. Each one of those products has a little barcode on it. If shoulder tapping or other stuff is going on in the community, or an adult's going in and buying product from a child and giving it to them, if local law enforcement find that product with the package on it, they can bring it back to us, and we can actually trace who that product went to. So we're very, very protective of children. Willie got up and talked about parking and widening the road and all that sort of stuff. I just want to give everyone some perspective on sort of what we think this store will do. You've got dispensaries in Lake Elsinore, Wildomar, Riverside County, Corona, San Jacinto, Moreno Valley. This store's not going to do $20 million a year. It'll do 5 to 7. It'll be very successful. It'll see around 200 to 250 customers a day. Those customers will, on average, spend around $50 to $60. We think that the financials we've given are very accurate. That then flows onto parking. If we're seeing 200 to 250 customers a day, we're seeing around 20 to 25 an hour. And most of those people shop for around 5 to 7 minutes. So yes, parking's important, but you're not going to have an entire car park full of cannabis customers. The man in the blue shirt, whilst I respect his views, he spoke for culture. I would argue that we're equally as operational as culture, if not more operational. We have stores located in Humboldt, right down to Chula Vista. The man in the white shirt asked how many dispensaries we've opened from application through to operation in 6 months. It just doesn't happen that quickly. They normally take 9 to 12. But in the last 4 years, we've opened 6 stores, which we built. We acquired, purchased 4 more, and we're opening 3 in the next 2 weeks. We've never sold a license. In fact, we've bought 4.
And we did have a dispute with a prior partner, Glass House. That case was dismissed by the plaintiff on the 21st of January. And obviously can't say too much more about that, but we did have a legal issue and that case was dismissed. Jeannie Odell from the Chamber of Commerce asked what we're going to do for the business community. 75% of our suppliers will be local, 100% of our staff will be local. Those staff shop with local businesses. In places like Rio Del, we have a passport program where we work with other local businesses to encourage local customers not just to shop with us, but to shop with adjacent businesses, and they earn points and discounts from us. Our community and business community engagement is really about engaging and listening with them. So we have a good neighborhood policy where we engage very frequently, every quarter, through email, through events. We keep them updated on our business. We want to sit down and talk with them. We want to solve problems. So we're very focused on working with the local business community. And for locals, locals have only got a certain amount of money in their pocket. If we're taking it all, they're not shopping other businesses. We do things like local Mondays, where locals come in and get 20% off. And we have obviously a range of products from outdoor cannabis flower right through to indoor. And that allows someone, if they want to come in and spend $20 or $200, we've got something for them. And that means they've got money to go and shop at other businesses. Last one, someone asked about the community and what we're doing for the community. Just to reiterate, we've promised that 5% tax to the city, an additional 3% community benefit fee, plus another $200,000 annually that goes to a lot of non-for-profits, some of which are represented by owners on the business. Can I take another 30 seconds? If not, that's fine.
We're being sticklers on the time.
No problem at all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris. Pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, Culture Club is next. Welcome back.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. We just get started anytime.
Yes, he's ready. Okay. 1 second, please. Sorry about that.
No problem.
All right, you have 5 minutes this time.
If I can just ask you to speak very loudly into the microphone, we're having some trouble hearing our viewers at home.
No problem. Is this good?
Yeah.
All right. First, I want to applaud the city as well as the residents who are still here maintaining this process. I know it's a long and arbitrary, it's a long run, and we're excited to be here at the finish line. First and foremost, I want to touch on the traffic that was brought up by a community member. First, we have the touch screens, which allow us to see more customers being on the sales floor than any other one of the applicants. We're able to see customers in 5 to 6 minutes because they can browse on their own and they don't have to be one-on-one with all of our employees the entire time. We incentivize for mobile pickup as well as delivery. And as far as traffic is concerned, we're going to ensure that our guards will do security sweeps to ensure that there's no loitering and no on-site consumption. Also, our location being next to the city admin building as well as the police department will ensure that customers come and go very quickly and they're not going to stay on site any any longer than they need to. And that's gonna keep all the riffraff that was talked about out as well, I believe. I wanna touch on our experience. Once again, we have over 20 licenses with over $50 million in revenue. We've got our local owner here in Paul, and we've got the most CUPs awarded, and we have our own construction company, meaning we can be open the fastest. I've mentioned our location already, our safety and security. So we've got a record of no citations, no complaints, no robberies, no burglaries of any kind, and no calls for service. We're gonna have armed guards on site 24/7. We've got alarms, cameras, and the gamut of all the safety and security necessary to get to this point. And then finally, as you, Mr. City Manager, has mentioned, this is really coming down to a revenue source for the city. I know there aren't very much commerce here in the city, and so I want to reiterate our commitment to 1% of community benefits, which is going to go to youth programs such as Little League. It's going to go to some of the clubs. It's going to go to the wakeboard club. It will go to other nonprofits, clubs, and causes that align with the city's goals as well as the Property Owners Association goals. And then in addition to that, we're giving 8% of tax revenue. That would go to the police department, fire, safety, and other improvements around the city. And all of that equals about $4 million in city revenue based on our projections currently. I want to thank you all for your time today. I appreciate you going through this process, and look forward to partnering with you guys soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And lastly, the syndicate. Welcome back.
Hello again, hello again.
Hello.
I noticed we didn't even get the buzzer at the.
Yeah, you were great.
Under 14, that was crazy, I had no idea.
Well, there's still a chance you might get it. You have 5 minutes this time.
Okay, here we go.
If you could just speak loudly into the microphone so our viewers at home can hear you.
Okay.
Thank you.
How's this? All right, so there was a question by one of the community members that asked, how are we gonna help support the business community? That's what we've already discussed this amongst ourselves by doing cross-business promotions. Having their literature inside our store, you come into our store, we promote your stores to another. We will do event participations. We are paying the city a lot of tax revenues, which will probably eventually help out the local business owners. And we are also current members of the Chamber of Commerce. So the syndicate is already doing everything they can to help support local businesses. There's another comment about the customers it brings and how dangerous that cannabis stores can bring. I have a funny story. One of our other stores, we share a parking lot with a veterinary hospital, and we wanted to repave the whole store, all the parking lots, so we split the cost with them. And in the process, I was dealing with the owner of the business, and I had asked her, I said, how is it dealing with like a cannabis store in the same parking lot? She said, about 6 years ago, when I started here, I was so concerned. I was concerned about the crime. I was concerned about all the vandalism. I was concerned about everything. But since you guys moved in, crime's disappeared. There is no more crime. And I was really fascinated by that because I've heard it several times before. So for the heck of it, I went online and I started Googling, what business brings more crime than any other business? You know what it was? Walmart. Walmart has more crime increase inside and outside the store. I swear it's true. You can Google it and look it up yourself. Cannabis stores notoriously reduce crime. And that's a fact. Mr. Eaton might even have data on that, but a good properly run store does not increase crime in the typical vicinity, especially with all the cameras we have, the security personnel that we brought in. Let's see. There was another comment about the daily count of cars and all the car traffic. Our location is right next to a smoke shop. About 90% of the customers that are gonna go into that smoke shop are probably gonna walk right into our store. That's part of our customer count. As well as I think that most people would agree that many of the cars that are gonna be in the parking lot would also be maybe visiting another business as well as ours. So it wouldn't really have the same increase necessarily. If we're doing 350 patients a day, it doesn't mean that we're bringing in 350 cars. Let's see. Oh, there's something else too that wasn't really mentioned, but I just want to say it. We can negotiate giving back plans, community benefits, but there's a lot of stuff that we do, even here locally in Elsinore. When we first were getting ready to open our store, prior to even opening, the city hall got vandalized. There was about $7,500 worth of Christmas gifts that were donated that were stolen. We got wind of it and we immediately went down and replaced every penny. We gave $7,500. When COVID first started, do you remember how hard it was to get hand sanitizers, rubber gloves, face masks, gowns, PPE? We spent 6 figures locating, sourcing, flying in, and bringing in on our own, and visited 7 police stations, 12 fire departments, numerous hospitals, schools, churches, and gave out as much as we possibly could. We don't just do our community benefits, but when we hear something, giving back and being charitable is a very big, important part of our business. Lastly, I'd like to say, it was mentioned by a supporter, Brian. He mentioned that Culture's a great business and they have a lot of stores, a lot of experience, and only because he brought it up am I gonna say anything about it. But the irony is that he said that, you know, they have stores in Long Beach and they have stores in Moreno Valley. They don't, because I bought them, because they sell licensing. They buy it, they flip. And so do many people in this industry. I would invite you to look a little deeper in the history of their licensing. How many licenses did they ever land? How many did they sell? How many do they still operate? We've never sold a license. We're gonna be here for the long haul. That's about all I have to say. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank all of the applicants. As I'm sure we can all tell, a lot of time and effort has gone into these applications from the different companies. It's a big investment for them just to, I'm sorry? Yes. It's a big investment for them just to enter into this process with us. It's been a long road for the city to get to where we are today. And thankfully, we're nearing the end of the process. What happens from here is that we enter community benefit negotiations with the 5 applicants. And at the end of that process, we expect to be in a position to select the applicant that will be offered the permit, hopefully by mid-June. And of course, then they'll have to go, the chosen applicant will have to go through all the regular city processes that any business needs to go through to open. We'll have to go, there'll be conditions of approval that they'll have to be willing to meet. There's also processes they have to go through at the state level too, to get the licenses they need to open. And then of course, tenant improvements and everything else. So with any luck, we hope we'll have an operating dispensary early 2023. And we are gonna make sure, the city's commitment is we're gonna make sure that we rigorously enforce what is in the ordinance and the conditions of approval so that whoever is operating here will be a plus, an overall plus for the community that does not become a negative for the community. And we're very pleased with the quality of applications we got, and we think all 5 applicants that are at this point in the process are quality and are committed to doing things the correct way and have good experience. So it's been a positive process up to this point, and we look forward to wrapping it up here very shortly. Thank you all for coming out tonight. I appreciate your interest, and have a good rest of the evening.